Yo, what is good, my anime faithful? What is good, yo? So, Mob Psycho definitely did what I was predicting, guys. I am the one, the chosen one who sits under the sun, okay? I pretty much called that there is no way that they should kill off Mob's parents like that. But I mean, I also did leave the the idea that it could be out there. Like, I mean, he was at the situation; he would know better than us. But with Dimple being there, was the only saving grace of pretty much the world making it out alive. The mob was literally about to just take everything out in the world after taking out the people who took out his family. So to know that we have a character like Mob who pretty much doesn't take kindly to stuff like this, to know that they chose him to try to fight with and mess with, I got a good feeling we're gonna be seeing a lot of this, like different people's ideals and um, just a lot more of these characters pretty much getting what they deserve at most of the times. Because if you really think about it, looking at the organization of Claw, there's so many members now because the guy's traveled around the world and because the guy was looking for so many different types of just espers and psychic users in general, that it put him in a position that now whenever he is trying to pretty much recruit people, some of them that are already recruited could turn and become your enemy, you know? So we are seeing now that the Claw organizations pretty much made more enemies for themselves than they already had out there that they're attacking. You know, I mean, they're attacking the governments and stuff, but the government was already following them as well. So it's a really weird situation that pretty much anybody can, I don't know, I feel like anyone can get beat up in this situation because Mob finds out that, you know, Dimple or Reagan are two really nice guys and they're going to tell him as much as stuff as possible to kind of keep his mind in a better place than where it was going. But at the same time, they honestly don't know what they're saying is true or not. So what they're doing is putting themselves in more danger than really saving uh, themselves. But with further explanations and further showings in the episode, we get a clear indication that his parents are completely fine. That somehow this guy did set up dummies in the house after letting it be blown up. So I think what happened is when we see the whole exchange of these coupons and see these guys talking and giving each other whatever um, they needed to get them out of the house and so forth, we then have the sidekicks that are actually no, we don't, because supposedly the two people that were hired to go to Mob's house were still on their way. They were still going there. And that all transpired. So I'm guessing once they got to the house, they would have been like, oh, well, I guess someone was done with their job early and came and did ours, something stupid. Something like easy to try to get out of working regardless of like, it was their job and no one else should have been on their job and stuff like that. But to be simple, the guy destroys the house, leaves some body, or leaves either, yeah, he had to have destroyed the house now because the people who were hired didn't even have the ability to do what happened at the house. So doing all this was a way to help Mob pretty much become someone who could fight against the Claw, because I guess when this kid who came over and did all this saw Mob's eyes in the very end of the first season and saw that he would rather give all of his powers to Reagan at 100% and let him go in, or, like Reagan told him that he'll do it instead of letting Mob do it, mainly because they're just humans and he wasn't supposed to use his powers on humans. But, I mean, if Reagan knew how actually dangerous they were instead of just thinking they were bubbles and stuff, he probably would have been a little bit quicker to be like, yeah, you should probably beat these guys up. Seeing how right now he's still protecting human life, but at the same time he's got to fight it. He can't, he's got to go against this organization yet again and make sure Mob and his family are safe. And even his place got attacked, so no one's really safe overall in this week's episode, which I think is another thing that really hits home is this attack on every single Esper that Mob knows, or every single Esper that's been named from the first season pretty much, and decided to do whatever they wanted to do. We are seeing them under peril, and now we have a bunch of former Claw members who, like, if we actually trust them, what is stopping them from, going at Mob or going at any of them and trying to get their way back onto the organization? And supposedly the only reason why they don't want to is because they want to live a better life. They want to live the life that Mob's trying to live, that Reagan's trying to live, and to see that was really cool. But at the same time, they almost just feel like the organization of Claw with the real members, this incredible Invincible Five or whatever he called them, it feels like that is the true meaning behind why can I sub please, that these guys are like forming this group, because these guys are ridiculously strong. There's some people in there that probably would slap the members that were already apart, and I think that's why we have all these characters are mainly for fodder cannon. Like, they're going to get bodied regardless of what happens, and it kind of sucks, but at the same time, we've seen mostly what they can do. I mean, unless they've been training to improve on their abilities, we know what their limits are, and they don't even have one of the stronger guys that were the former members who was doing like the black holes and stuff, like the leader of their group that's abandoned. So, not to mention, we also have the kid who's, just ridiculously strong and was slapping some people like it was nothing. Pretty much taking Mob's brother and his own people to fight against. He said, I'm going to be the one that takes him out, almost as if he's saying he's going to take out his dad for trying to take out the world before him or something. I was kind of confused on who he was saying I was going to beat him, almost as if by taking out the area that they're in, it was going to wind up beating someone that he wants to beat, aka maybe Mob or something, because he knew, like I said, that when Mob gave his powers away, that he would be no help. He would be someone that wouldn't want to go as far as needed to finish a battle like this. So that's why he left the dummies. That's why he burned the bodies that he left there, to make it look like it was a murder. And that is why Dimple is MVP of the show this week for saving Mob from completely obliterating, like, probably the one thing that I could take from this episode that I loved, and it pretty much came all in the beginning, because as soon as Mob fell asleep, it slowed down so they can kind of give us the gist of what the overall stance is with everybody. But Mob was in 100% the whole time. He literally, his power was probably like, or like his emotion was probably like search or like find or something, like something simple, and that was his last thoughts at 100. So regardless of what happened, as long as he learned of his parents, more ways that his parents could be safe, he wasn't going to stop. He was going to wreck every single person that either was a part of the organization or either had that type of attack, like explosives, fire, anything along those lines. Guys, Mob Psycho is a show that I have been keeping up with since the very first time it dropped, and I have no idea what could be possible right now, and that should tell you something about the direction the show is going. Yes, it is close to over already, I believe, unless they're going to give us a good chunk of episodes, which I would be surprised if they did, simply because there's so much content out right now, guys. And to see a lot of them being only 12 episodes makes a lot of sense because there's still a lot of stuff coming. So be ready for that, my anime people. I will be dropping as much content as humanly possible to get to you guys. So make sure you like, subscribe, and have that notification bell on. And I will talk to you in the next one, my anime people. Alright, peace.